Right. Hello and welcome to our Rites of Passage for Surviving 1984 Director's Cut. I am here with our final three, of course. I am here with our final
Ouch.
three. Oh my gosh.
That beat though.
Do I need to go yell at Nick Watson really quick? Is that what?
Yes. I am here with our final three. Congratulations, guys. You made it as far as you can get in the game. So we are going to go through the cast. You guys are basically just going to say what you want to say about each individual person. Yeah, we're just going to go through everybody. So you guys can decide what order you want to go through or go in. And
I'll
yeah,
just go first, so that way I can get it. We'll get it over with.
we're just going to have a little kiki. All right. Oh, Michael, can you take over for a second?
Okay, so who said they were going first? Because
I said I didn't mind going first.
okay,
All right. Who wants to go second? I thought they were choosing the order.
I can go second. I don't care.
Okay, so we'll go
me, then
Constance,
Jake,
Jake,
then
then. Okay, so the first person we are going to talk about is Kevin.
They were on the road a lot. They seemed pretty cool. I guess they're friends with Tim, I think. I don't know. He's been a really big supporter of a lot of other people that wasn't me. So I hope you're great.
Okay, I'll go. Kevin was actually the first person I wanted to work with in this game. But we just never had a conversation. And from what I remember, he wasn't even supposed to go first. But
Sorry.
yeah, but no, you can take
Oh,
but no, he was super cool, and I wish he would have got to stay longer.
Yeah, just based on the conversations I had with him and the tribe call and everything, it seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He just played quite a few orgs, and he was definitely someone I thought had a lot more potential than First Boot. But I guess it was kind of my doing that he's gone not on purpose. But yeah, he seemed cool. He seemed like a good ally to work with, but he really kind of sunk himself at the beginning. But yeah, he seemed like a good guy, a good player.
Okay, next up we have Ike, who none of you played with, but if anybody has anything to say.
just thankful that he wasn't on my tribe.
I don't know him. He seemed cool.
Yeah, I guess he lied about an idol. He drank and smoked. That's all I know. I don't know.
Okay, next up is Tim.
Well, first off, I just want to say that you seemed really cool at first. You were really interesting at first, but unfortunately, we just didn't line up game-wise because you just seemed to just have this negativity about me or whatever. And Nicole told me nice things about you, but I don't know. It is what it is. You seemed really cool. You were very passionate when you were in the game.
Yeah, he did seem very passionate. I just remember in one time, I think it was the night he was voted out, or the day, he, in the span of 20 minutes, messaged me, hey, 7 different times, and had 7 different conversations, all in the span of we can just keep the conversation going. And me and him still laugh about that, but he was super cool. He was a lot, but he was cool.
Yeah, passion is definitely the right way to put it. I mean, he was my guy. I've known him for very long, and he fought hard, but I wasn't gonna betray him or anything like that. He was my final 2, and it was a little bit unfortunate that it happened the way it was. But imagine that vote changed everything. If you think about it, because I voted you, and Constance was about to vote you.
I wouldn't be here. I would not be here.
Yeah, so like I mean that vote just shows like look how like different all of us are, and like
Oh, I know, because I was the one that was like talking. I was the one that told you, Jake, about the whole thing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
yeah, it was
Word.
wild. I mean,
Crazy.
good game, Tim. I guess. I mean,
Okay. Next up is Chrissy.
So she seemed really cool. She seemed like she was on the outs of her tribe, and I kind of felt that because I think that she seemed like somebody who was going to play this game really great, or at least just play it very strong, regardless of whatever happened. And I really feel like that she should have kind of had more of a chance than some people. So I'm just glad that she at least had a chance to get farther than what she might have thought, or come back for another season and just do even better than the last time. So yeah, you seem really nice.
Yeah, I don't know her. She's really pretty. She did kind of get, kind of screwed on the bottom of her other tribe, which sucks. Her and Hunter had I guess, a game together if they would have made it far enough to work together. But yeah, she seemed like I'm gonna say everyone's super cool. I don't know her.
yeah, I don't know either, but she definitely could have had potential. It just seemed like she didn't really get along socially with people on her tribe. So, who knows if she would have made it. I feel for her because, especially coming from kind of a less fortunate spot in this game, like, that could have been me too. So, I feel for that, and she totally could have potential another time.
Okay. Next up is Kendall.
Um, So, I just want to say that she's very nice as a person. As a player, I'm thankful that our paths didn't cross, just because I know sometimes she can get a little crazy. But I do think that she did the best that she could while she was here, because I'm so used to seeing her leave early in games. So I am glad that she was able to get a little farther than what she's used to, if I remember reading what was said correctly. And I just really hope that her gameplay has changed in a lot more positive ways, and that I hope she's doing great. So that's about it.
Yeah, I also don't know her. Pietro in my production chat knows her, and he loved her. So I was like, okay, that's kind of promising to me if I ever got the chance to meet up with her. So it's a bummer I never really got to know her, but I hope she's doing good.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't afraid to speak up, and clearly she's pretty either good at the game or entertaining. If you had her on here 3 times, but yeah, I don't know a whole lot about her. It seemed like some good TV, but that's about it.
Alrighty. Next up, we have Nick Benner.
So for this one, I think that he is a really cool guy. I think that he naturally plays any game that he's in very strong. He has a good personality. I think that he would have definitely done a lot better if he had made it to the merge. I don't believe that our games would have crossed together, simply because, I don't take a lot of things as sensitively. So I just really would have thought that even if I hadn't made it this far into the game, I would assume that somebody like him definitely would have. So hopefully he comes back and plays even better than how he played this past season.
I also don't know Nick. I liked his intro video though with the cat. I thought that was really funny. I'm trying to think. His elimination, I honestly didn't think he was going, so I was shocked whenever he left. And I wish he would have stayed around longer.
Yeah, it was probably a big move for them to vote him out, just because he seemed very vocal, very strategic, and apparently Nicole said he's very good at the social game. So I mean, he definitely could have had potential as well. I don't know him, but he definitely wasn't afraid to, be loud at tribal councils and bring his cat in and stuff like that.
Alrighty. Next up, we have Keaton.
So the only experience that I've had with Keaton is when we played a sentence together, and then he basically like kind of failed to vote me out, and then like he got voted out soon after, and then gave me his briefcase. And I just think that from what I know of him, he is definitely a personality. I think that he is somebody that is definitely out there, not really afraid to take risks and do whatever it is that they need to do in order to secure their spot in the game. I definitely thought that he was going to make it to the merge simply because he is such a strong character. So ultimately, I don't think our paths would have crossed in the game either. But I really hope that he'll come back for another season eventually and definitely be just as upfront and as straightforward as he was in this game.
I love Keaton. He hosted me in Trinity. Super cool. I liked him. I know he's kind of got a reputation for being messy and crazy, so I was really worried if we were ever going to cross paths in this game because I've only heard from other people, and he seemed like a spontaneous player. And I mean, what better way to go out than an idle play to get you out if you were going to go pre-merge? So props to him for playing a really strong game in the pre-merge, and I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he never stopped complaining about our tribe, about how we were cheating and
I
but
forgot about that.
He did.
yeah. But I mean, me and him, like I think me and him met like right at the beginning, like when he got on 10 gauge first of all, when I got on 10 gauge at the beginning. So like we've known each other for quite a long time, but we've just been kind of in the group game community, not like super close friends, but still still friends. And I've always been wanting to play an org with him because he seems like a fun guy to play with. But every time one of us has left pre-merge, so but he's been rooting for me ever since. So that's why I gave him the shout out. And yeah, I wish I could have played with him. He's a good guy.
Alrighty, and our final pre-juror is Miss Nicole.
Okay, so I just want to say that I had like literally the best time playing with you. I think that you were somebody definitely robbed. Although I still don't really understand how it was my fault you got eliminated. I wasn't the first person to bring up anything. I do feel like that you were somebody that I was excited to work with and move forward into this game with. Unfortunately, there was a sacrifice that kind of had to be made to ensure that my game was good. But I do hope that you're doing well and that you understand that there's more to, your elimination than just me. So I miss you, and I did really want to work with you.
Nicole, I probably talked to her the least on the tribe. We were in our alliance. And she just really scared me in the game. I was worried about, cross-tribal connections that may or may not have even been a thing. But I had definitely worried about that, and I talked to her least. Hashtag loyalty, even though the round before she tried to get votes on me. But regardless, she's super dope. I hope she's doing well. I want to play Ascendant soon. Love you. Good game, really.
Yeah, I had quite a few conversations with her. I had a really great call with her probably the day before her name was brought up, unfortunately. And I just, found out how great of a person she was and how she's a great player too, She's that's the main reason why she was even brought up in the first place, because she had, good connections, a great mind for the game. And
Great perception.
What's that?
Great perception of what challenges were.
She did.
Yeah. She you could tell easily that she knew what she was doing. And so when it came up, I was like, it's not me, so I'll go with it. But I would have liked to go further, but things happened and it probably wasn't the best to go further with her, unfortunately. It was nice to meet her and, possibly cross paths later. Probably not though, because I'm done with orgs now.
Shout out to Nicole. I'm sorry if I gave you COVID.
All right. So now that we have rounded out our pre-jury phase of the game, we are now going into the merge phase and the jury phase with our first juror, Mr. Luke.
All right, so I know our paths didn't necessarily mesh one-on-one. I know that we've barely had a conversation. I do think that you were definitely somebody who seemed like a free spirit, really cool, chilled guy. Unfortunately, when I heard my name being thrown around from certain people in this game, that apparently you were doing the same, I felt like I had really no other choice but to present your name as an option. So I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to really talk all that much other than the small talk that we would consider, voting together during that tribal council. But ultimately, things just, did not line up for me in my game at that point. So I just hope that you're doing great and good luck.
With Luke, I didn't really talk to him a lot. I think I went on one call with him a few hours before Tribal. He seemed super cool, and he definitely could have been somebody I probably could have worked with down the road had circumstances been different. He hosts a super cool org on YouTube that I already binged. I think I asked him how I could get on it, even though I don't go to school there. But yeah, he was super cool, and it was unfortunate how it all happened.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great guy, very friendly, very, I talked to him for maybe, an hour or two just through text, probably a few hours before the vote. And he was a good guy. I mean, we didn't even talk a single word about the game. We talked about, weather, Taco Bell, fun stuff like that. And he was definitely fighting to get back in the game. But I think we realized, I'm not flipping, and he's trying his best to do things, but at the end of the day, it was nice to just get to meet him as a person rather than having him come at me and tell me a vote that I have to do, or else I'm going to be 7th place. It was a better conversation, but yeah, it was nice having him. Could have been different, but he was the merge boot, so that's when tribal lines stick together. So a bit unfortunate for him.
Alrighty, up next we have our second juror who was idled out of the game with 2 votes to his name, Jackson.
So out of everybody that was left in our Davis tribe, at the merge point, you were the one that I talked to the least, but you did seem really nice. You did seem very cool. I definitely, did not have a mission of any sort to try and go against you, seeing as I knew of you from when we were actually in a group together. And, me and you seemed pretty on point. You would always ask me about the vote or whatever, and you were really just a straight up guy, and I really appreciate that. I do wish I could get to know your personality a little bit more. But aside from that, I'm sad that you did get idled out. But in the circumstances that where I'm at now in my game, I do feel like that looking into where people fell now, I think that I would have had a bit of a detriment to my game. So I think that you're just a very, undercover player, and I think that you would have been great had you made it farther.
Jackson robbed King. I genuinely really thought it was me or him getting idled out. So I definitely think he was robbed. I worked really closely with him in the pre-merge. We talked a lot. I feel like I didn't really get to know him or his personality. And I really wanted to. I think he was just it was all game, which isn't a bad thing. And he was definitely always the one in the public group chat to say, hey, I'm around if anyone wants to talk. Almost like clockwork every day. He had that message posted up, ready to talk to any and everybody. So I still laugh about that. But no, he's a really good guy, and he was robbed. Definitely.
Oh, he was, definitely robbed. I feel like if he didn't get idled out, he might be sitting here. Yeah, that's why they got him out. He was pretty well set up. No one was going after him. But yeah, I talked to him. He was the one person I talked to probably the most consistently, just because he was always there to talk, and he was always there to listen to me even after the first few rounds when things went kind of haywire. He was still there to talk to me, and he was still willing to work with me, so I really appreciated that. Otherwise, yeah, it was great to play with him, and hopefully, I mean, I would like to get to know him more too.
His social game was really good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And our third juror, who was the person who idled Jackson out of the game, Mr. Connor.
So the weird thing about this situation is that I came into the game actually worried that you still kind of disliked me and that you kind of just were, coming for me indirectly eventually in time. And I had been thankful that you had maybe had another target or two from other people. And I just want to say that although our games didn't necessarily line up, I do feel like that me and you did have a great conversation that was not game related about the fact that, how me and you can definitely become friends and, how, we can kind of just see, different points of view and how things happened or whatever. So for that, I'm thankful. I do apologize that, our games, like I said, didn't align. But I thought that you were a great player, very strong, very likable for sure. And I definitely feel like that had not been voted out at the time that you were, I definitely feel like that you'd have a shot to win this game because you're extremely smart.
I also was worried. I had a past encounter, I guess you could say, with Connor and the Trinity Mini. We didn't really end on, we weren't bad, but we also weren't like, the best of friends coming out of that. So I was definitely worried when I saw him and knowing like how good he did in that. And I think he had a big reputation in this game for being someone who could potentially do some damage if given the chance to. So I think I called with him maybe once. He was always just really like mysterious to me, and I never really knew where he was. And probably the biggest threat on the Murphy side. So that was my thought process dealing with him and how I wanted to approach that situation.
Mm-hmm. I think it was pretty, everyone kind of agreed on our side of things that, he was the one person that had to be taken out before, tribal lines broke, because he could easily have slid past and made it to the end, and won the game because he was a monster. I played with him one time and he gave me first boot. I wasn't putting past games into my decision. But we've been pretty good friends for a while. We had a 5-person chat where we just played like Cards Against Humanity and other games, and never even played a game with you until Trinity. But it was really nice to play a few games with you, I guess, for like the few rounds that it happened. But yeah, who knows? One time maybe things can be different. Like it's just that's the way the game was this time. But yeah, great guy, great friend.
All right. Up next, we have somebody who found herself voted out unanimously first on live night. We have Miss Caitlin next.
So I actually thought you seemed like somebody who would definitely be more active in the merge, seeing as like your life was on the line in pre-jury from what it seemed to be, pre-merge, I'm sorry. And I only ever received like 2 or 3 messages like, hey, how are you, blah, 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 And I definitely would have loved to have talked to you more. I definitely would have loved to have gotten to know your personality a lot more too. I do feel like that there was just kind of like a lot to be desired as far as like our communication. And I feel like that's where we may have not necessarily been on the same page. I do feel like that if we spoke more, you would have definitely been able to connect with me. And I feel like that in general with anyone, I feel like you would have made it far in this game, seeing as you were the only female left playing this game at the merge. So hopefully you're well, and I wish you the best of luck in your decision.
Caitlin, iconic swimsuit to Tribal Council. I give her mad props for that. I want her life. She's always doing something with friends, drinking, having a good time. But game-wise, me and her never talked. I know absolutely nothing about her. Give her props for being the last female standing and for lasting as long as she did. I wish I would have got to know her more. But at the time, it was still like an Murphy versus Davis kind of thing. And, well, I guess not if it was unanimous. But I wish I would have gotten to know her more. But she seems super cool and good game.
Yeah, I definitely kind of empathize with her a little bit. Like when she was away a lot, having fun a lot. Because I mean, I am also very busy in my life, and I wasn't able to call with a lot of people this game. So I really felt for that, and I definitely built like did my best to talk with her about personal type stuff, and I was planning on possibly turning that into like a strategic conversation into but things changed and she ended up getting the boot. um yeah, she seemed really nice, and you know congrats on making the merge. It seemed like she kind of had a tough time in the pre-merge, but good job making it this far.
And continuing on with Live Night, we have our second victim of the Live Night, Brandon.
Oh, Brandon? Oh. Basically, I didn't really know anything about you. We literally had a 2-second conversation in messages, and it didn't really shine anything about whether how you are as a person or your personality or anything like that. All I know is that your side picture was a picture from Danganronpa, and honestly, I love that. I do think that we would have connected amazingly had we connected about anime or video games or something like that, because that's what I got the impression of. um, I mean, I know you said Constance, you're not winning this game, and I said something back, but I do want to say that you definitely went out swinging. I think that you have a really big personality, and for somebody who played a relatively quiet game, from what I saw at least, not sure of everybody else's opinions, I do think that you could have been a big detriment to several games because you are smart and you do have what it takes to win competitions in pressure-based areas. So yeah, I hope that you're doing well.
With Brandon, he had the idle play, negated all the votes, and got the sole vote to knock out Keaton, which I think is huge. But when it hit the merge, me and him never really talked. I was always worried that him and Livingston were getting a little too close, and they had potential to take away from what I had going on, And me and him, we talked a few times, but it was never game related. And I was like, it's final 8. Like, we aren't talking game. Like, something's got to give. But I hope he's doing well. I think he said he had COVID. So I hope everything is totally fine with that. And I want to tell him good game.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the merge, I really felt like I owed Brandon an apology, just because 1-2 years ago in past games we've played, I've always had this kind of stigma about him, about the way his gameplay is. And this time I said, hey, let's give it a shot. I had big plans with Brandon, and again, things didn't work out, but I really felt like I got over what I had against him before, and I'm really glad I got that out of the way. So, looking past that, you were a great person to talk to, and I'm glad I had this experience with you.
Alrighty. Up next, we have our second Davis voted out of the merge, Livingston.
So for me, I feel like that you were one of the biggest in my game. Since the beginning of this game, I know that I was going to be target number 1. And I know that you voted for me at the beginning, but although I did not receive any more votes, I knew of the fact that it was being switched in a way where it didn't seem like that I was supposed to be the target, which I was, which was very smart. From what I see, at least that's how I feel. I do think that it was interesting at certain aspects in this game how our games unusually lined up together, and that we were manageable to we were able to manage to work together and to actually vote with each other, even though without really saying much to each other. We kind of had that quiet, you know what, we got this, let's do it like this type of thing. And I feel like that you could have been somebody that would have been a big jury threat to everybody at the end, simply because you were always having your name out there every now and then, and starting from the bottom, and making it all the way to the end. I feel like that you would have had a great shot at this game. I feel like that you played great. You had a decent social game, and I know that your perception of me might not be as great, but I do want to say that it was a pleasure playing with you. And I just had to catch you when I did, simply because I didn't really know where you were going to line up with my game at that point, and that's how I felt. So I hope that you're doing well, and I wish you luck.
Yeah, Livingston was probably one of, if not the biggest targets on Davis. His name was always coming up, and he always found a way to get by. Me and him personally, I was always worried. I asked Ben multiple times, like, is Livingston is he good? Is he voting for me? Like, I never really knew where Livingston was, and he knows that. We were just never like eye to eye fully on the game. And I think when it came to his elimination, we definitely had potential to make something happen. I was just worried if I jumped the gun too soon, I would lose what I had going on, my power in the game. So it was definitely all about timing, and unfortunately, it had to be him. But from us talking, we talked more as the game went on, and I got to know him a little bit more. But he always stressed me out. I had no clue where he was in this game, but he played really, really good.
Mm-hmm. With Livingston, I have a funny story. I mean, so I think during the school year, he added me on Snapchat or something, and then I said like, "Oh, nice to meet you. It's a good thing you've never played with me because I play dirty." That's what I told him. And I just, I was a little bit scared when I saw him on the cast. I was like, "Oh no, Livingston," and I also thought he knew about my connection with Tim, so I was really scared about him. So I was completely fine with him being a first vote. But quickly we found ourselves on another side, and we got along great. During the merge phase, he was definitely the person I trusted the most. Despite him being a very big threat to win in the end, just because of his amazing underdog story. That was great. But yeah, I mean, I really was excited to, have a more, personal experience with him in this game. And I'm glad that he was on the cast. So sad to see you leave when you did, but good player.
All right. Up next, we have the last Murphy that was remaining left in the game, Mr. Hearn.
Hearn, you were the one Murphy that I did have the most social interaction with. I was really excited to see you in this game again from Davis looking in from the other side of the tribe when the game did start, simply because I knew of you a tad bit, and I definitely know how you are when you play this game a little bit to a degree. I feel like that, you play pretty strong, you're very smart, and you have a really good understanding of perception similar to the way that I do. And I feel like that you definitely made some really great connections in this game. And with you being the last Murphy at that point in the game, I felt like that you would have definitely, swooned that jury for sure. I do think that you have a strong physical game as well, because you can do any competition from what I've noticed, and like you can kill it spot on. And I just want to say that regardless of how you feel about my gameplay personally, I think that you played an exceptional game. I think that you would have definitely, like I just said, had a chance to win. And I really hope that me and you can play more games together, because I know that our game didn't necessarily line up at certain points in time, but we were always on that, same front page of where, although we didn't vote together, we still had that mutual understanding of like talking with one another. And that's what I really appreciate a lot. So I hope that you're well, and I wish you good luck on your decision.
Yeah, me and Michael, I don't call him Hearn. I knew him back as Michael. I've known him for about a year and a half. So it was definitely a little bit more personal with him in the game. I really liked him. Props to him on being the last Murphy standing. We talked more not about game than we did about game, because we were never really, like, we had a mutual understanding. We didn't want each other to go anytime early. But when it got down to it, he was a beast. I think I lied to him and said I wasn't voting for him, which I Sorry. But he's a really good guy, and I hope I can still continue my friendship with him after the game because he is super cool.
Yeah, with Michael, I pinpointed him as a big threat at the very beginning as a merge, just because the way that he talked was just so like he was able to direct the conversation exactly where he wanted it to go. I mean, me and him had some great conversations. We bounced jokes off each other so easily, and he was a great person to get to know. I was hoping that we could have had a future in this game, but once it got to like final six, you were just too big of a threat. I mean, I always said that Hunter was a big threat. I was much more worried about Michael because he had the jury, he had the comp wins, he had the social game, like he had it all.
Yep. I brought that up so many times, and it's just, and it wasn't meant to be like, well, you next now that you voted Livingston out, but like, it just unfortunately ended up that way. And I thought he, was a really cool guy. I didn't have a problem. It just had to unfortunately be that way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at final six, even if Hunter didn't win immunity, I still wanted him gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was a good guy. Great. Good to get to know.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Next up, we have somebody who, wait, did you guys know he won Sequester? Mr. Hunter.
Oh my gosh. So first and foremost, while I was very shocked at a lot of the things that you left me out of, I do want to say that you played hell of a game, okay? You really almost got the best of us several times. I do think that you were aware of what you were doing to manipulate the connections that you had in order to make sure that nobody would target you. And ultimately, it did come down to me versus you. But I know you didn't vote for me, so that I kind of, appreciate. But, it was more so on a game basis. Unfortunately, though, aside from that, I do think that you were definitely somebody that would have won this game for sure, hands down. You even agreed that you would have probably won. I do regret the fact that we didn't really create something a lot more earlier than expected. I feel like that when me and you first kind of connected a lot more, it was more so based on like what certain people knew of other people and how we were able to kind of connect with each other. And we did know of each other previously from our first ever org that we ever played together, which was like 4.5 years ago. And I was really happy to reconnect with you. I think that you definitely controlled a lot of the pre-merge aspects of the game while also ensuring what happens with a lot of the merge aspects of the game. And ultimately, in the end, I wanted to prove that I didn't follow somebody to get to where I'm at, and I had to make a move that was beneficial for me. So I really hope that you are doing well and that you have the best of luck in your decisions. But you're a boss and you killed it. So,
Hunter, I think the first conversation we had, I think I asked him to subscribe to my OnlyFans. So that's like what I remember about that. And then like the vibe was there and we knew we had to work together. But yeah, he ran the shit. And I was worried for a very long time that people like Hunter, or Hunter specifically, he is very convincing. He knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it to get your brain going. And he did the shit. And I definitely was worried about him running away with the win. And I always knew if I got to the end, he will talk me under the rug, down the street. Like he will talk the shit out of me in the end. So I was always worried about that. And I think at the end, the target was just too big on his back. And there was a lot just being said that didn't really add up on any end. But he's a really good guy. And I want to keep in touch with him after this game for sure because he's awesome. Really good player.
Yeah. He was definitely like the one person I think on Davis I wish I got to know better just because I've never been on a call with him and a lot of our personal stuff was very just kind of surface level. But like game wise he was a very big player and his name was being brought up even at merge, like final 12, and it says something that he made it to final 5 and almost made it to the end. So he was basically one immunity win away. So I think he did a great job. Obviously,
Are you okay? I'm sorry.
obviously he won sequester for a reason. Yes, I'm okay.
No, not you. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, he played a great game, and I felt like I had to put myself against him for that reason, and I'm glad I did because otherwise he might still be here.
All right. And last but not least, we have our fire making victim, Mr. Brian.
Dude, let me say, you were somebody that I just absolutely love talking to since the beginning of this game. We literally connected like this. I just absolutely love your personality. I was born in New York, and you're from New York, and I just really love you. I feel like that you are such a very straightforward person. You definitely played this game very hard at times, and you were very passionate about making it to the end for sure. You and me were constantly reminders of the fact that like we really wanted to do our best to get to where we were at. Now, I had a pleasure working with you the entire game. I know that up until your last minute in this game, I had expected for you to make it to the finale regardless. And for you to not be here actually really shocked me. I think that you were a force. You would have won this game had you also had made it to a finale. If the other people that were named did not make it prior. And I feel like that you just did exceptional. And it was just a pleasure meeting you, playing with you, and getting to know you.
Brian, I still feel like absolute shit for what I did to him last night. I definitely have gotten to know him the most, talked to him all day, every day. Me and him played this game pretty much hand in hand. Every move we made was ours. I love Brian, and I want to keep talking to him after this game is over. I just think when it got down to it, our games were just so similar that there wasn't a lot of leeway for us to be different. But I hope he understands. I love the fuck out of that kid, and I can't wait to see him around, talk to him again.
Yeah, Brian was also someone I got very close to and talked to a lot, up to the point where, we didn't even have to talk a whole lot. We knew what we were thinking, we knew what page we were on. And, it was good to talk to him about personal things and strategic things, seems kind of like a secondary, like even first few votes, I still kept contact with him. We were working very closely, even though I wasn't voting with him the same time, like, every time. So, he definitely was very driven. Everything he did was for a reason, and he knew what he was doing all game. So I really give him props for that. And he was, a wonderful player.
All right. And before we wrap this up, does anybody else have anything to say about the overall game, what you guys enjoyed, anything like that?
I just want to say that, this game has been absolutely amazing. Sorry, this game has been absolutely amazing. I have had such a pleasure getting to know so many people in this game. I came into this game concerned, feeling like as though I might have had a natural disadvantage because there were so many people that I had a feeling may not have necessarily liked me that much. I feel like that while I may have not always been the best person to talk to at times in this game, I think that this game was just so well ran, well done. The challenges were fun. The tribal councils were always so interesting. I think that there is always going to be room for more 1984 in this, year. And I am just so thankful to have made it as far as I have and beat my placement in any game that I have ever had the chance of doing. So I am thankful for both of the people that I'm with in the finals. I'm thankful for all the people I've met at the merge, pre-jury, so on and so forth. And I'm thankful for the hosts of giving me an opportunity. So thank you, everybody.
This game has been amazing. This is the first time I've ever made it to the end. Also, this is my farthest placement as well. I'm gonna burp. Hold on, this is really gross. I'm sorry. But this game has been super fun. I've got to reconnect with people that I have had weird history with good history with, haven't talked to in probably over a year. I'm thankful for everything, and this has really been a good experience. Buy my Fathead merch, please. You need it on your laptop, on your water bottle, on your shirt. This game's been awesome. So thank you guys for everything. I love you both. I love everyone. It's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to thank the production team for everything they've done. It was a wonderful job. It was seamless the way they ran this game. I mean, it gave me something to do when I had nothing else to do before work. Obviously, I was very busy during, the merge stage, but just thanks to the production, and thanks to everyone who played and made it a great time. That's all I have to say.
I also want to say thank you to you guys. This has been a really fun season. This final 3 is really good. I'm very excited to see
Yeah, it is.
Ends up. You guys have all been great, and I'm very excited to welcome you all to the 1984 family.
So
So
excited.
Thanks to Michael for picking all of us.
Oh yes, I sure
Yes.
did. I picked all 3 of you.
Michael, King,
How do you feel?
the true winner.
The true winner of 1984. Okay,
Well, you see, I was just like seconds away from picking all 3 of you, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I believe you.
But no, like I said last night, no matter who wins and who loses, all 3 of you should be very, very proud of yourself. You guys made the end, which not many people can manage to do. So congratulations for that. And yeah, tomorrow night, hopefully will be the finale, and we wish you guys the best of luck.